Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Hang on, I'm just going to wait for a few minutes for some people to show up. So it does look as if perhaps I am live. Let's see. How y'all doing? Have a sip of my coffee. Hello, Nicholas. So, Tammy, you should be able to find me. Hey, I'm just hanging out here for a few minutes. I'm having a little bit of trouble with YouTube as usual. So I'm trying to see if I can get this to work. Okay. So, can you say something in the chat, Tammy? Question mark. Okay. So I was just going to do this video. Okay. I was just going to do this video for myself. I mean, not for myself, but I was going to just record it and put it up for you guys. But I decided, what the heck? And Tammy said, come on, just do it live. So I thought I would just go ahead and do it live. I'm not really prepared because Nightbot might come on and say some weird things. But, you know, get your cup of coffee going. And I'm going to teach you how to take a coloring book page and make your own SVG. It's really easy. And I know some people use some other programs like Inkscape, but I think Inkscape is a lot harder. Also, Illustrator is another one that people use. But for me, the downside of Illustrator is you have to pay a monthly fee to be able to use that program. Whereas, well, if you have a Silhouette or a Cameo machine, you can use the free version of it to do this. If you're trying to do it, hey Dee, if you're trying to do it for your Cricut machine, you will have to have the business edition to do it. So that's the only drawback for if you have a Cricut machine and you're trying to do this. But I'm going to show you can use it for your Cricut. So I guess I'll get started here. Let me move some of my paraphernalia out of the way. And hey, Dion. So if you look up here to my screen, I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. So what I'm going to be doing is a Minnie Mouse. Now remember, it's up to you to figure out whether these are free for you to use for personal use, no matter what images you get. I'm just using Minnie to show you today how easy it is to do this. So I've already gone ahead and grabbed a Minnie Mouse. Listen, you can use your kids' coloring books if you have little kids around the house, or you can, grab images off of Google. Maybe you have your own adult coloring books that you want to grab some stuff out of just to play with this and make your own SVGs. So, scrounge around the house, find the kids' coloring books, and make them a little present of something. Now, when you do this SVG, of course, you can use this and make it out of vinyl. You can take it and make the pieces out of out of HTV or heat transfer vinyl or iron-on vinyl, or you could do it out of cardstock. Did I already say that? Anyway, so let's get started. Let me show you how easy it is. Right now, what I have open here is a Silhouette Studio, and this actually is the free version of it. So if you have a Cameo machine, this is all you need is the free version to do this. Again, if you're using it for your Cricut machine, though, you'll have to use the business edition because that's the only one that allows you to save it as an SVG. So here's what I found online. She was much larger. I just clicked on her to get these little editing points. Oh, and by the way, I'll have the link down below for you after this video is finished so that you can get the free version of the software, which you'll need to get first if you have a Cricut, and then after that you get the business edition. But I'll have the link for you down below. Anyway, so I just take these corner boxes and resize this thing just however size I want. Now I'm going to cut mine maybe out of cardstock if I actually even do it. This just might be a teaching video. But if I was doing it out of cardstock, I would make this smaller so that it would fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So let's just assume that you're using a Cameo machine, and I'm going to show you from here. So right now I would set up my page by coming up here to the upper right hand corner, and I would change it. It comes in automatically at Auto Cameo for my machine. The cutting mat is Cameo, and my media size is 12 by 12 or the automatic Cameo setting. So what I'm going to do today, because like I said, I'm going to use cardstock for mine, so I'm going to change my media size to letter, which is 8.5 by 11. So I know this is how much space I have to use for my Minnie Mouse. Okay, so here she is with the coloring page that I got off of Google. I brought this one in just so I could grab the color of her skin tone, and this one was just the sample that I made just playing around to begin with. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make her so she'll fit, and it looks like she fits just fine there. The next thing that you have to do to easily peasily make your own SVG for any machine is just come over here to the trace tool, which is over here on the very right. A lot of people say they think it looks like a butterfly. I think it looks more like a piece of toast. But whatever, when you hover over it, it says Trace Panel. So I just click on that and it opens the Trace Panel. This allows me to select whatever I want to trace. Well, I want to trace all of Minnie, so I'm going to click on this to highlight it. And then simply come over here and trace on Minnie like this. Now, this actually happens to be a fabulous image that I've found to use on Google. And in some of my previous videos, I teach you how to find a good image to use. You really want to get the biggest, the largest image that you can find because it makes it look a lot better and it's easier to work with. So right now, what I usually do is come up here to this little bug tool, click on it. It's a magnifying glass. It just looks like an insect to me. I click on that and then I come down here and I zoom in, because what I'm looking for is how nicely these lines are made up. Are there a bunch of open spaces between them that are going to be a problem for me? And actually there are not. She's a fabulous image. I do see one spot right here, and I'll zoom in so you can see it. So all of these things right here, the yellow, that's where my machine's going to cut. So it's also going to cut right here, a little hole out right there, and I don't really need it to do that. There are several ways that I can fix it, and I could actually just fix it right now by changing the threshold on my trace. So I'll leave it scrolled in like this so you can see. So right now, I still have the trace panel open, which I got over here. And if I come right here to where it says threshold, right here, if I move the threshold slider up, it's going to close that in for me. So I can either move it up manually by grabbing this little triangle and sliding it over, or I can use these little triangles up here and click and click and click until that space gets covered in. The only thing I want to make sure of is that the lines that I'm making don't get really jagged like they seem to be getting right here. And if I really move that threshold up, you can see that they get more and more jagged, like, oh, till they're hideous. So I think what I'll do is I'll just undo that and go back to where that image was, or that thing was that I don't want really. So there it is. And I'll show you another way to get rid of it. Okay. So I'm going to scroll back out. So in case you're confused already, let me go back and show you what I did again. Here's my image. I came over here to the thing that looks like a piece of toast to me, clicked on it. I said select the trace area. I came over here. I need to make it smaller. Came over here and just drew a box around this whole area. And it looked pretty good to me, so I'm just going to say trace. And because I've done this a lot, I see another area that might be a problem that I'm going to work on in just a second. And let me scroll in and show you. There's this little teeny tiny piece that I could have gotten rid of when I first started, but I'll get rid of that now. So again, let me scroll out. I've selected the trace area, so now all I have to do is take this box off. Remember the one with the box behind it? That's not the one I want. And those of you who have tried doing this and you take this over to Cricut Design Space, I have so many of you say to me, Patty Ann, my trace looks, let's get rid of these, move them way over. My trace or my SVG looks fabulous, except for that this big black box comes in over in Cricut Design Space, and I don't know what it is. Well, this is what it is. You trace this. This is the thing you want to keep. You want to just get rid of this by hitting delete on your keyboard. Okay, so here she is now. This is what we want. And notice there's no box behind her anymore. She's perfect. So what we, wait a minute, did you guys just say you're mopping the floor and happen to see the alert? Hi, Carmen. Hey, Rebecca. Simply Judy. Hey, hi, you guys. Roxana, hey, and Patty. Dion, D. Hey, thanks for joining me, you guys. Anyway, back we go. So the first thing that I like to do is I just come, let me move this in a little bit. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change the color of this so that it's no longer red, but it's a color I'm not going to use in Mini. So my steps were to trace, get rid of the image that I traced, and this is what I did trace. So now I'm going to come up here to where the cross hatching is, because that actually shows that this thing is transparent, as we can tell by moving it over here. I'm going to change that color to a light color that I'm not going to be using in my Mini. So I'll change it to a light purple. And the reason why I change it to a light purple is this. The next step that you have to do is you're going to come up here to Object, Release Compound Path. So this might seem like a lot of steps to you, but it really truly isn't. You traced, you changed the color of the outer edge to a light color, and then you came up to Object, Release Compound Path. And that's now all you have to do other than coloring this. So let's see. What I'm going to do is I think I'll color her bow first, and so I can scroll in more. So I'll color her bow a reddish color or pink. Let me move some of the stuff out of my way. So I clicked on that one, hold down my Shift key, click on the middle part and this part. And then I'll just come up here, and instead of it being this light purple or lilac-y color, I'm going to change it to red. There you go. All right, so let's say I want to color her mouth, and I'm also going to make that same red color. So I click on her mouth. Notice that puts the box around it. And I can come up here, and the very last color that I used was this red. So I'll make it the same one, red. Okay. Now I want you to remember that little spot I told you about right up here. Remember that little piece we were going to try to get rid of? Because my machine's going to cut that little hole out, and I don't really need it to. So all I have to do is double click on that, and that brings up something called nodes, little boxes. And when my hand changes into this little box with a line through it, I can click on one of the nodes and it becomes the active node, and I can just hit delete on my keyboard and keep hitting delete until those guys are all gone, and now it's perfect and we're good. And remember I said there was another little spot down here I saw that I didn't like. Let's see if it's still there. Let's check it out. Okay, seems to have gotten rid of it, so maybe it's not going to be a bother. Yep, looks like it's gone, so we're good. All right, scroll back out. Okay. You guys tell me what color you want me to make her dress. So right now we have this. So going on, what color would you like me to make her dress? While I'm waiting for you guys to tell me, I can color her gloves. And we know Minnie's gloves are always white. So I can color her gloves white. And again, all I'm doing is clicking on the object and then coming up here to the paint color area and changing that to white. So let's see, there are some other things that would be white. That would be the eyeball. Let's see, I think this one. change it to white. Yep. And this, and I'll change that to white. All right, I got 2 requests for purple. Sweet. Okay, you guys win. Ding, ding. I'll do purple. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to make her dress purple. So there's lots of parts of her dress. So I'll just go ahead and start clicking on them. I can hold down the shift key after I've clicked one and click some more parts of her dress. So I'm just holding down the shift key and clicking parts of her dress. And right now I think I have enough picked for right now, so I'm going to just come up here to the color swatch and click on purple. Okay, that's pretty good. But I want this part to be purple, I think, too. Hold down my shift key. Bye, Roxana. Click this and click purple. Okay, so Tammy and I have been learning a lot about coloring. And ordinarily, you'd probably make, if this is the fold and it's going inside, and you want it to look like it goes in, so that it looks like it's recessed, I could color this a darker purple. So I'll grab that one and grab this one, and I'll come over here to this paint palette now because I might be able to find a darker purple more easily. I don't want it that color. I'm going to go to advanced options, and since I clicked on that color, it brought me right here to that spot. So I'm just going to make it a darker, well, kind of a weird color, but a little bit darker. I could do this if I want to. And of course, this depends on whether I have vinyl, 2 shades of purple. So I may just have 1 shade of purple and only want to do the 1 color. So anyway, okay. So let's make this part of her sleeve the purple, and this part the purple that we've already used. So I'll come back over here to this paint palette because here's the color I just used. Okay, she's looking fabulous. Should I make her shoes red to match her bow? Sure. Click on the shoe, click on the other one, and I'll come up here, change those to red. If I'm trying to use the exact same red I used, there it is. And I think I'll make her little hearts purple. Could make them red. I don't know. I'll do purple, see if I like it. And I'll change them both to purple. Okay. So she's looking pretty good. Let's get an idea of what she's really looking like now. Since I've colored a lot, I'm going to be able to change the background color to the black so you can really see what it's going to look like. She's going to suddenly look like Minnie. So I'm going to click on this and change her to black, and look at that. Hey, she's looking like Minnie finally. There's some stuff we want to do, though, and I'm going to show you. Hey, Patty, I'll see you. Go back to work. But make sure you join us for the replay so you can figure out how to do the rest of this, because it's pretty cool. All right. So as I said, oh, look, I have her headband that I need to do still. I need to make her headband the same color of red. I'm going to come up here and just click it to red. Okay, that's looking good. One other thing that I'm going to do is you can probably see... you can see these little red lines in here. All those are is like the cut lines. So, and I'm not going to have it cut eventually. So if you'll notice, they're right up here and they're showing in red. I'm going to change them so they're black, just matching the same color that we used. Whoops, did I do it? Oh, let's see, black. There we go. All right, so now that shows up better. Okay, we got some issues though. Her face is not this light pale purple color, so I'm going to change its color by clicking on it. And I'm never sure exactly what color to make some of these things. So like I said, I brought in this Minnie to begin with, so I can come up here after I've clicked on her face and click on this. And then there's this eyedropper tool right here that I can click on. And this lets me pick any color I want to that I have open, so I can make it that color if I want to, but I certainly don't want to. So I'm going to come up here and click on that again and get the eyedropper and click on the color that I want her face to be. So that's it, like that. But you need to notice something. it didn't get all of the little pieces because there was like a dam here that stopped the color from flowing into there. It also, here's the little dam here that stopped it from going into these areas. But that's easy to fix. I'll just click on this one, hold down my shift key, click on the next one, still holding down my shift key, get this one and this one. And then, as you know, just come up here to the color swatch. And the very last color I used is this one up here in the upper left. Click on it. And now she's looking pretty darn good. All right, let me grab all of her and group her for a second and move her over. Okay, I don't really want this purpley part to be behind her or this part. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of that now. So let me ungroup. So I'm going to take this part and hold down my shift key and grab the, black maybe? I'm not sure. All of a sudden I've done this out of order, so let's see what happens. And what I was going to do is come over here to the Modify panel, right here, and click Subtract. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to have happen. You probably can't tell, but it's transparent here now, and I'll show you in just a sec. So I'm going to click on this one now, hold down my shift key, click on the black, and then say Subtract. So now once again, if I grab all of her and group her and bring her over, you can see that now those pieces are gone, and I didn't want them at all. Okay, so now let me finish coloring her, and to me it's looking a little bit boring, so I think I'll change these. Oh, I've got to ungroup it again. I'm going to change these colors to red because I think they'll be pretty, kind of pop out. So I'm going to change them to the same color we had used before. And let's see, I need to change the inside of her dress to the same purple. And this part of her dress. So I'm just going through here and seeing pieces that didn't get colored because there was that little dam there that didn't allow the coloring to go through. So I'm changing all of these. Thanks, Carmen. To purple. And purple. So I'm just going to change all of these to purple. And I'm doing them one by one. I could just be holding down my shift key and grabbing them all at once. So that looks pretty good. So the rest of the stuff that's left in here now, I'm going to change it to white. So I think the easiest way that I can do that is like this. If I come up here to this little panel, this little thing right here that says Select by Color, it looks like a paint palette. If I click on that and I come over here and I'm going to select that light purple color, and I'm hoping it's just going to grab all of that stuff down at the bottom. It looks like it put little marks all around it all. I'm just going to change it all to white because I want her little petticoat to be white. So that's perfect just like that. Okay, I think that that's probably pretty much all I need to do for her. Now, if I was going to be making her with my cameo, let me grab her down here like this. With my cameo, all I would do is go to Send, and it might come in as simple or line. I would change it to fill. I'm going to cut it by fill color. I would uncheck everything. Okay, but before I would do this, unless I'm cutting it out of cardstock and I want all these pieces to be individual, let's imagine I'm going to do this out of, hi Chow, hey, have fun shopping with your mom. Anyway, let's imagine I'm going to be doing this with vinyl. So you want all the pieces to say exactly where they are. An easy peasy way to do this for silhouette, and this makes it perfect for your Cricut machine, is to do this. Come up here to that color palette again. This is Select by Color. And you're going to select by Fill Color, right? So let's just start here. Start at the top, the peachy color that is her face. And there were several pieces, remember? And this groups them all. I'm going to right click and say, make it a compound path. That makes it one piece. Bye, ciao. Just like that. So all the pieces are together. And now cut out of a piece of vinyl like this. All together, perfect. So when you use your transfer tape, you're not going to have to worry about little pieces and making sure you get them where you want them to be. Okay. So then I could go to the purple. Okay. And that selected all of the purple, including her little shoes, everything. And I would right click again and say, make a compound path. And what does that do for me? It keeps all of these little pieces together. So when I go to do this out of vinyl or HTV, iron-on vinyl, they'll all stay together perfectly, and I'm not going to have to get all these little pieces and try to line them up. The next one is the red. So if I don't make it a compound path, what would happen is this would be a separate piece, and this would be a separate piece, and her lips and her, all of these things. But if I make them a compound path now by clicking on this and then right clicking and saying make compound path, now all of these pieces will stick together perfectly. So when I go to put them on a shirt, they're perfect just like this. I might be putting them on a black shirt, so I don't have to have this extra layer under here. And the black of the shirt will just show through. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Let's see, what is this? Shouldn't even have that color. That must be something over here. I did that. Okay, let's see. We need the white. Here's the white. It's grabbing all of the white pieces that we have. I'm going to right click and say make compound path, and there they are. Make sure there's nothing else left on here. Nope. Okay. So now this is how I would build her on my shirt. If I wanted the black layer underneath, I'd put that down, and then I could put this one down and this one. And as you know, if you followed me, if you're doing this, all you would do is just tack this on just a little bit, enough so it'll stick on your shirt, and then tack this on top. Again, just enough so it will stick. You're not going to do it for the full time, whether you're using a real heat press or the easy press, either one, or an iron. This, you'll just tack it on there. And her gloves, see how nice this would be though? Each one of these would be being picked up with transfer tape, and you just put them right down where they belong like that. So again, let me show you now. If we were to do this in silhouette, you would just go to send, and I would do it by fill. So the first thing I would do is I would cut the face, and I'd move it up here in the upper left hand corner, and I would just cut that. And when I'm done with that, I would come back, uncheck that, check the purple, and then I would just be cutting the purple. And I could move those other ones off the mat so they wouldn't confuse me, and just cut the purple just like that. When it was done, I would uncheck it and do the red. And I don't know if you're noticing, but over here it says it's cardstock, and of course I'd change that to HTV or vinyl if I was using it, heat transfer vinyl, whatever kind. You know I love flocked vinyl. Glitter would be gorgeous to put on for her little bow. But anyway, that's how you do it for your Cameo machine. And I will show you right quick right now how to do it for your Cricut, because this one's really easy. Say you're wanting to learn how to make your own SVGs out of any image you can find. It's not easy to do it in Cricut Design Space at all. It's not. I don't think it's easy to do it in Inkscape. In Illustrator, as I said, you'd have to pay a monthly fee. To use this program for your Cricut machine, all you need to do is purchase the software once. You download it on your machine. It's yours to keep forever. And once you have the business edition of the software, you can save this. Now, I'm going to leave this one here just to show you guys. Get rid of this one. Delete. So you wonder what this is. Okay. So I've already saved these all. Now I'm going to go to File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive. And I want you to notice something. Since, as I said in the beginning, I'm using the free version of this software because it works for my Cameo, I cannot use it for my Cricut. And here's why. There's no way to save this image as an SVG. You can only save it as files that Silhouette can read. So, what you have to do is you have to have purchased that business edition that's about $50 or $60. That's it. I mean, how many SVGs have you bought, and you can do this for free forever and ever if you buy the edition. So I could actually go to help and view in, and now I'm going to view this same thing in my business edition software because I do have that purchased. So when I go to the business edition, I get a whole lot more tools over here, lots more options everywhere, more stuff I can do, rhinestones, all kind of things. But if I'm wanting to use this for my Cricut machine, here's what I can do. I can come up here to File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive, and I'm going to name her Mini, Purple. Oh my gosh, EPURPLE, Mini Purple. But here's the trick. You can go ahead and save it now. Look at all these options you get. If you want to save it as a print then cut, you can save it as a JPEG. If you want to save it as a SVG for cardstock, HTV, iron-on, regular vinyl, you can save it as an SVG now. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to save it in my downloads as Mini Purple. I'll put a space in between there. Purple. Oh, darn it. Okay, Mini Purple, SVG in my downloads. Okay. All right, I have Cricut Design Space open because I've already done her once, but I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to replace this one. So now all you have to do is come to Upload, upload an image, browse, and I'm going to look for Mini Purple. Now I want to remind you about something. Remember that little piece I left off there? I think it's going to come in weird, and that will be one of the ones you may be wondering, what's wrong? Continue. Yep. You see that? So many times people say, there's this box that comes in that's black. What is that? My SVG worked, but there's that black box. Well, let's go back to Silhouette. And remember, she has a box behind her. That's why the black box shows up. So if I delete her, and those of you that have this issue happen, and now I go to File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive, and I'll call this Mini Purple 2. So you can see the difference. And again, I can't save her as a Silhouette file for my Cricut. Got to save her as a SVG. Say OK. Now let's go over and open her. So this one had the black box. Let's cancel that. I'm going to go to Upload. Oh, Nightbot's talking about a font that we used. Sorry about that, you guys. Just ignore him. But we're going to upload this image and say Browse. And now I'm going to do Mini Purple 2. Look, no black box this time. Just Mini perfectly. Save. Here she is. Insert her. Since we made each one of those files over there, remember we said make it a compound path? Each one of these little pieces that make up the parts of her dress come in as one layer. One layer. So let me ungroup it and show you. There's one layer of red, one layer of the white, one layer of purple. You see that? And it works perfectly. If I say make it, and let's assume again that I'm doing this with vinyl or HTV, it's going to come in and all these pieces are going to be exactly where I need them to be. I'll just put a piece of transfer tape on this, pick it all up, bring it over to my shirt, and iron it on. Same thing with this. Look at that. It's going to be perfect, exactly where we need it. So that's pretty much it. But again, my main focus for myself, what I'm trying to teach mainly now, is how to use these things, how to do this and use it in Silhouette for my Cameo, because I'm really enjoying using my Cameo, although I do have a Cricut machine as well. I just like to design in this software because it's so much easier. And then those of you who just have the Cricut, you can take it over there and work with it. And join us. I have a Patreon class where we are doing this once a month now. And most of the people in there only have Cricut machines. So I teach how to design these things in Silhouette. Sometimes I'll go over how to use it in Cricut, but for the most part, I will not. But in our private Facebook group, everybody that has a Cricut gets in there and says, look, this is what I did. This is what I found. This is how it works. So, yeah, it's truly worth every penny. I mean, those of you who are thinking about it for your Cricut machine, just let me show you one more thing. If I was making a cake topper, and I wanted to say mini, just say, okay, and pretend like that says happy birthday or something. I can obviously easily change the font, and there's just so much to do over here, you guys. You have no idea. It's so much fun. But I'll just change it like that to mini, and I can weld it if I want to. But check this out. Let's say I want this to match my mini colors that I'm using here, and I want to offset it because I want it to be on a big steak that comes out of a cupcake or something. All you have to do is come over here to the offset panel and say offset, and it automatically puts an offset around it. And then I can offset it again if I want to. Offset, and I'll make that one red just because I think it would be cute. Whoops, not that whole thing red. I had it all selected still. I just want the most out one to be red. And I'm doing that wrong again. Let's see. Mini. I want this. Oh, you know what's wrong, you guys? I didn't make this a color. This one, let me undo that for a sec. What's wrong is, and let me go to undo till I'm back to the, okay. So before I can change this one, I need to change it to a color, because right now if I grab this over here, it's transparent, that offset. I wanted that one to be white. So I'm gonna come over here and click on this and make that transparent thing white. And then I'm gonna offset that again by just coming over to this offset panel and saying offset, and I'm going to make that offset red. So that's how easy it is to make an offset. Group all this stuff together, make this a print and cut if I want to, and just put it, I could put it on top of her if I wanted to like this, make it a cute cake topper, whatever. It's just so easy to use this for your Cricut machine. So does anybody have any questions? I'll go back and look at the chat for a minute. Oh yeah, Carmen, yeah. Yeah, it really truly is a good investment because you don't need to buy SVGs anymore. Find stuff. Oh, whoa, that's not where I wanted to go. So like this, I find stuff over here. There's so many free places where you can go. I have bookmarks for digi-stamps. Free digi-stamps. Look at these cute things. Tammy made a beautiful card using this one. Isn't he adorable? So I would just right click on him and say copy this image. Come back to Silhouette, right click and paste. And he's just about ready to go. I can click on him to get rid of this. Some of the stuff that's up here that I don't need. Now these are free images to use. Oh, notice a little bit of his car's been cut off. So I can double click on him again and move this over like that. Tammy taught me that. And now this guy's ready to go. I could just, okay, look at him. No, he's not quite ready. He's got that box around him, right? If I want to make him one that I can just put an offset around him, color him with my Copic markers or my pencils, and then cut him out with my Cricut or my Cameo. First thing I need to do again is to go ahead and go over here to offset, not offset, trace, select the trace area, and trace him. Once I'm satisfied with how this looks, and if you join us in our Patreon classes, you'll understand more and more about that, but in trial and error, you'll get it too. I need to drag this down because notice I didn't get all of his wheel. Just do that. And just say trace. So now I can get rid of this one with a box because remember, if I keep that one and I take this over to Cricut, it will confuse me. And this guy right here could be ready just like this. All I need to do, and I would just come over here and change the background color of him to the outline to black and the line color to black like that. And then if I am going to do him with my Copic markers or my pencils, I will want to go ahead and make an offset on him. Let me click on him first, make an offset. And I can leave the offset at the default if I want to. This is a little bit more involved because this has some funny looking stuff on it. But just to get rid of all these little pieces here, I just go to Object, release the compound path, and that selects everything in him. Then I just right click and weld. Okay, so now that is still transparent. I want it to be a white offset. So now I've just made it white by coming up to the top, and I'm doing this quickly because I've been on here for a while. And bring him back over here, grab both, come up here, center, and while they're both selected, still just say group. And now I have this perfect little mouse that's going to cut with an offset around him. I can print and cut him, color him to my heart's delight, and then print and cut him. Or I could have done the object release compound path, which would have made all these little pieces, individual pieces, and I could have colored him just like I did Minnie Mouse. Then I could have printed and cut him that way. Or I could have saved him as an SVG and put him together with vinyl or whatever like that. So what site was that? Digistamp. Aren't they adorable? Let me show you. I love them. That guy is it's hard to find this one. It's bontontv.com. Do you see it up here? bontontv.com. If you have a hard time, Barbara, finding that one, ask about it in our Facebook group. Let's see, let me show you the link. This one, let's see, it should be coming up. And we can give you the link to it there. Let me get rid of that. So I guess that's pretty much it. I hope you like this as much as I do. I think it's a fabulous way to make your own SVGs. Easy peasy. I used to use Inkscape. I do not anymore. This is so much easier. And this software is made for a cutting machine. Granted, it's made for the silhouettes, but it works for our Cricut machines too. Or even if you have a scan and cut, you can save things as SVGs or JPEGs or PNGs to use with any machine. So, all right, so let me check here and see if you guys have any other questions. Just go back to Silhouette. And bye, Rebecca. Yeah, Rebecca says it's so worth it too. So, all right, thanks a lot for joining me, you guys. Be sure to tell your friends about this and give me a thumbs up, please. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm trying to get my subscription level up. So thanks again. See y'all again soon. Bye.